Today we are going to take our first topic, lecture number first, Introduction to the Agrochemicals, their types and role in agriculture. See, the definition of agrochemicals. Agrochemicals are the chemicals used in agriculture to maintain or to increase the crop production. It is used in agriculture to increase the crop production. It is known as the agrochemicals. They are nothing but the various types of the chemical products actually that are used in agriculture. In most cases, the term agrochemical refers to the broad range of the pesticides, insecticides, herbicides, fungicides, nematicides. All these are the chemicals which are used to kill the raw worms. Their term may also include sometimes synthetic fertilizers, hormones, and other chemical growth agents, as well as the concentrated stores of the raw animal manures. Think you are getting the what is mean by the agrochemicals in agriculture to increase the crop production. We use some chemical products in crop production like herbicides, pesticides, insecticides, fungicides. All they are comes under the agrochemicals. Okay. These agrochemicals are typically toxic and when they are stored in the bulk storage system may pose the significant environmental risk also, particularly in the event of the accidental spills. Okay. As a result, in many countries, the use of agrochemicals has been become regulated and the government issue permits for the purchase and the use of the approved agrochemicals may be required. Significant penalties can result from the misuse, including the in that improper storage resulting in the chemical leaks, then chemical leaching and chemical spills. Wherever these chemicals are used, the proper storage facilities is required, labeling, emergency cleanup equipments, emergency cleanup procedures, then safety equipments, as well as safety procedures for handling, application and disposal are often subject to mandatory standards and the regulation. While these agrochemicals increases plant and animal crop production, they can also damage the environment. The excessive use of fertilizers has leads to the contamination of the groundwater with nitrate, a chemical compound that in large concentration is poisonous to the human and the animal health. In addition, sometimes runoff leaching process of the fertilizers into the streams, lakes and other water surfaces, aquaspheres can increase the growth of algae which have an adverse effect on the life cycle of the fish and the aquatic animals. This is about the agrochemical concept or the examples. Now, next is the pesticide agrochemicals. In that, the types of pesticides and their role in agriculture. There are total 11 pesticides are there. See, first is the acaricides. That is the pesticide which are used to control the ticks and the mites are known as the acaricides. And the examples of the acaricides are the sulfur and the lime sulfur. Next pesticide is the algicides. The pesticides which are used to control the algae and the aquatic vegetation are known as the algicides and the example is the copper sulfates. At the time of semester examination, the questions like give the example of acaricide, algicides, likewise questions might be asked. Third is the antiseptics. The non-metals comes from the microorganism or which are used for the killing the microorganisms. Phenol, mercury, chlorides or chlorosis. Okay, this is a antiseptics. Next is the arboricides. Okay, it is used to kill the undesirable arboreals, vegetative part and the bushy appearance, bushy vegetations. In that, the example is the sulfuric acid. See here, sulfuric acid, copper sulfates are the arboricides. Next is the bactericides, 50s. It is used to control bacteria and the bacterial diseases. Example, penicillin, streptomycin. Sixth one is the fungicides. which are used plant disease caused by the various fungi. Example is the Bordex mixture and the Thyrum. Next is the herbicides used for the control of the weeds. In that 2,4-D, 2,4,5-T, diurea are the examples of the herbicides. Next is the insecticides, control of the harmful insects. Example, endosulfan, carboril. Next is the molluscides. In that, soft bodies like insects like snails, slush, molluscides, metal dihide. These are the example of the molluscides. Next is the nematicides. In that, it is used for the control of the nematodes. Example is the methyl bromide and other fumigants. And last is the rodenticides. It is used to control the rodents. It is example is the zinc phosphate and the water. All these are the types of the pesticides. In that, in detail, we are going to learn about the herbicides, insecticides, and the fungicides. Define pesticide. Give the types of the pesticides with suitable example, or give the role of pesticides in agriculture. There are different types of fertilizers we are used in the crop production, and nitrogenous fertilizer, phosphatic fertilizer, potassic fertilizer, complex fertilizer, mixed fertilizer, micronutrient fertilizer, customized fertilizer. We are going to learn one by one nitrogenous, phosphatic, potassic, complex, mixed, micronutrient, and the customized fertilizers. This is our first topic. In that, the questions are: define agrochemical, write down its types with suitable example. Second is write down the role of agrochemicals in agriculture. Define fertilizer, state its type. Now coming towards our second topic, effect of agrochemicals on environment, soil and human and animal health, merits and demerits of their uses in agriculture, management of agrochemicals for the sustainable agriculture. Now first see the effect of fertilizers on soil and water. The first is due to the excessive use of fertilizer causes addition of CD, Cu, Zn and nickel. All these are the metals which get added to the soil and they are the harmful. Okay. Due to the excessive use of fertilizer causes accumulation of salt in the soil, and that's why the soil becomes salt affected. Soil heavily fertilized above the recommended levels, and soils naturally high fertility are potential source of nitrate contamination in ground or due to the runoff water. There is a nitrate accumulation in drinking water or ground water. Next, the excess NO3 concentration in drinking water causes the disorders in the young infants, methanoglobinaemia, or it is known as the blue baby disease syndrome. Okay, excess NO3 concentration in drinking water. For the objective type question, as per the World Health Organization, the NO3 concentration in drinking water should be less than 10 mg per liter or greater than 20 mg is not acceptable for the drinking water. Excess amount of N and P causes nutrient enrichment of lakes and rivers called as the eutrophication. For the objective type of at the semester end, define eutrophication question is there, or blue baby disease is which element is responsible for the blue baby disease. Then what is the range of NO3 concentration for drinking water? Likewise, such questions will be asked. Effect of fertilizer on soil and water. What are the remedies on that effect? Okay. See, the split application of fertilizer as per the crop growth stages. We have to use the fertilizer application as per the recommendation dose. Do not use above the recommended dose, and we must use the split application of fertilizer application of split fertilizer as per the crop growth stages. Use of advanced technology like fertigation. Use of nitrification inhibitors for the nitrogenous fertilizers. Avoid excessive use of compost prepared from the sewage sludge, distillery effluents and other industries. Pesticides are used to control the insects, fungi, weeds are normally directed to the plants, although the major portion is deposited on the surface of the soil. Only 20 to 30% pesticide reaching the target and remaining 80% reaches up to the non-target sources. Insecticides. The organochlorine insecticides are highly persistent and remains active in soil for the maximum period of 10 years. Example, DDT, dichloro-diphenyl, trichloroethane, aldrin, deldrin. Okay, give the example of the organochlorine insecticides. Organophosphate insecticides are more toxic to the animals as compared to the organochlorine insecticide, but still preferred more due to their less persistence in the soil. That's why we use more. Parathon, malathion examples. Carbamate insecticides are readily broken down by the microorganisms. Fate of pesticides in the soil. Okay, the most one is the absorption. It is the process in which uptake of pesticides molecules into the plant tissues. This action removes the pesticides from the environment and prevent the pesticide from becoming a water contaminant. This is a absorption process. Next is the adsorption. It is the physical binding of pesticide molecules to the soil particles. That is, the pesticide molecule get attached to the soil particles. The strength of bond depends on the interaction of pesticides, chemical properties, its concentration in soil water, the soil pH, and the composition of the soil. That is present sand, silt, clay, and the organic matter. Adsorption, absorption. Next is the erosion, is the movement of the soil particles from the application site by the heavy rains or excessive irrigation. If pesticide is adsorbed to the soil particles, the pesticide is also being moved off the soil by the erosion process. Then movement in runoff water, when soluble or insoluble pesticides moves from the application site across the soil surface, either dissolved or suspended in the runoff waters. Leaching to the groundwater occurs when soluble pesticides moves downward through the soil to the groundwater. A highly soluble pesticides will tend to radially reach into the groundwater. Degradation is also the pesticide is applied, it becomes breakdown or degrade into the simpler compound which are usually less toxic than the parent one. Each pesticide has its own speed of degradation, which depends on the active ingredients, formulation, and the environmental conditions. Most organisms, a category which includes bacteria, viruses, fungi, algae, protozoa, live in the upper foot of the soil where they find the warm temperature, moisture, organic matter, and where they do most of their work degrading pesticide. Microorganisms are most active in highly organic matter. This is the degradation. Next is the volatilization. A liquid chemical on a plant or a soil surface can be converted into a vapor which escapes into the atmosphere. The pesticide vapors that drift through the air may be hazardous to the plant, human, and the animals. Applicators should read the label carefully to find the warning that will tell them that a pesticide is a volatile. Look for a statement like in the environmental hazard sections of the label. Vapor from this product may injure susceptible plants in a immediate proximity. Volatilization process. What are the remedies on the fate of pesticides in the soil? Use optimum dose, apply FYM for the adsorption, flowing of contaminated land to the dilute toxic residues, crop rotation to avoid the repeated use of particular chemicals, use of bioagents rather than using the chemicals, then biodegradation using specific microorganism. By using specific microorganism, follow the biodegradation. These are the remedies to be used. All this is about the topic. Write down the assignment. State the effect of agrochemicals on soil, environment, and the animal health. State the effect of fertilizers on soil water and give its remedies, and write down the fate of reactions in the soil. All this is about the our first lecture. To the next lecture, we will discuss about the various types of fertilizers. Okay, today we will stop here.